Protect your home from home. Simple Caravan Insurance, sponsors of the Caravan Channel.
Anything that makes it safer and more comfortable to tow a caravan has got to be a good thing. So I was intrigued to hear about the InSync system, and we went along to have a look at how it works and what it does.
The standard braking system on caravans across the board really relies on a system designed in 1927, was introduced, and it's the overrun system, they call it, and it relies on inertia. So ultimately when you hit the brakes on your car, the caravan being towed will push forward onto the back of the tow ball and close the hitch, which of course then brings the brake rod into place and brings the brakes on. This system has been around for a number of years and has worked very well. But ultimately we thought that they needed something to cut out what we call the slack. You know, this is about a second and a half delay when you actually hit the brakes on the car for then the caravan to come into force with the braking. For an example, you can imagine going on a bend, it's a narrow lane, on a country lane, and it's damp, and of course you have to hit the brakes, you're at an angle, and you have to swerve around a bicycle or something at the side of the road there. And the caravan has this tendency to want to push the back of the car in the direction that the caravan's facing. And of course if the car is in this angle, this is the problem you get. So you often see like the jackknifing effect. With the InSync brake assist system, when it's been fitted to the caravan or the trailer, ultimately the experience is quite different. Many have just enlightened it's been very smooth. One of the things is when you've actually got it on there, this is what happens. You're driving along and you hit the brakes, you just touch the brakes on your car. The minute the brake lights are actually activated, it will activate the system. The compressor will then activate and it'll pressurise air into the chamber and ultimately will pull onto the brake rod instantly. It can only pull to about 50 to 60% of the braking, so there's no way it could ever lock the brakes on at all. Any braking, if you brake harder than that, of course, natural overrun system comes into play. So it literally is just assisting the brakes just for that first second and a half, 2 seconds of braking. And the result in that, of course, there is no push up the back. It's much smoother, it feels much more comfortable, and you feel very much more confident when you're towing. This is what our customers are telling, this is what I experienced myself. We've done some testing so far, some extensive testing with a major caravan manufacturer, and basically we had it fitted to a unit where they tried it for some time and gave us their views on it, and the general impression was that it works well. It doesn't suddenly revolutionise braking, but it certainly makes a difference, a noticeable difference, so there's certainly some merit there. We also did some testing and we took it out on test drives with the Caravan Club, and they had it for an afternoon with their test driver. And we also did some testing with the Caravan and Camping Club, and the same there. The tester there was quite rigorous with it. Was, you know, sort of almost thinking, was this going to work and how does it work? But I think, and in fact his own words were, it seems to cut out the slack. We're obviously actively selling the system. In Holland it's gone extremely well because we've launched this obviously into Europe. Holland recently did a test day at Lelystad, which is a test facility over in Holland near Amsterdam, and it was a full day's worth of testing. They had about 150 dealers there, and the results were quite remarkable. Everybody that obviously tested the unit themselves all agreed that certainly under braking on bends, which is what they were doing, they seemed to be going at 60, 70 mile an hour and then hitting into quite a long sweeping bend and literally trying to do hard braking on the bend. There was no dip of the caravan on the back of the car, which was really noticeable. And of course nothing was locking up because the brakes were initially pulled on much smoother, and of course everything stayed in shape and stayed in line. So everybody came away from that day thinking, yeah, this is really something of great interest. The product isn't available direct, it has to be fitted by an authorised fitter. It would take maximum probably an hour and a half to 2 hours to fit. The external part of it, the metal work that goes on, is all galvanised and zinc plated, so nothing's going to rust or fall to pieces. It's all very high quality pieces that we've used. It's a fully CE marked product. But ultimately that part of it will take about 40 minutes tops to fit, and then of course there's the electrical components which are fitted inside the caravan. So clearly you'd need electrician skills to be able to fit that correctly. So we do have obviously authorised dealers, specialist dealers that are allowed to fit the InSync system, and of course then there's obviously the other route, as we've said, through InSync Direct. The thing about InSync that really excites me is that I feel that we're going to make a difference. As I said before previously, we're not revolutionising the standard braking systems, we're just enhancing it and improving things a little, making things smoother. And for me, if it means that that's one less accidents on the roads, you know, as a result of the InSync system being fitted, then we're very happy.